Hello everyone, how's it going today? I hope that everyone's doing well. Oh no, I don't have a cardigan. No! I forgot to go get it. I'll have to go get it in a minute, but welcome! Is the stream running for everyone else? Because it's not running for me. Because everyone's saying hello, I'm guessing it's working. Okay, cool. How's the audio levels? How's all that stuff? Let me know. We'll see how this goes. I hope everyone's had a good week. Welcome to the Pixologic channel. Today we are going to be sculpting mouths. So I said I would do a sculpting demo, and I said I remember that I said I would do it last week, and I didn't do it last week. I forgot. So this week we're gonna do it. I'm gonna warn you guys ahead of time. Mouths are one that I never quite have a distinct workflow for. I'm still figuring that out for myself. I do them differently every time. So what I like about doing these demos is I get to figure out my workflow because I'm repeating it over and over again. So we're going to do a couple today. Hopefully we'll get 3 done again. Not quite sure, but fingers crossed. So yeah, there's a couple of different ways that I've seen that you can do them. Sometimes I extract stuff, sometimes I pull stuff out, sometimes I just sculpt it straight on and kind of just wing it. But there's another method that I saw where people slice the bottom jaw off and then they Dynamesh it back on, so that looked interesting. But yeah, we're going to try a few different things. I need help. What do you need help with? Had a good week yesterday, not so much. Nothing went right. Oh, well, I hope that you have a better week and a better weekend then. So, mouths are something that is going to be, once again, like the eyes, is going to be a little bit funny to look at in terms of there's no nose there. So, oop, I need to hide my taskbar as well. Taskbar. There we go. So, it's going to look a little bit funny. Let's get this. Let's change this background color. I don't like it to be okay. So let's just pick, we're gonna get a block again. What am I doing? So we're just going to start with a block that we did like we did last time, and I'm just going to kind of or rather than bend it, where's the symmetry coming from? Okay. Oh wait, I'll probably have to Dynamesh it first. There's not enough geometry really to bend it the way I want to. Okay. Sorry. We'll just go with that for now. I need to get my tablet. I'm doing this with a mouse for some reason. Just finished posing my character in ZBrush and I realized it's lost its UVs. What do I do? Oh, so if you want to bring stuff like that in, you have to use gauze if you want to keep stuff like your point order or UVs. So when you import it and export it into ZBrush, you have to use gauze. Otherwise, you do end up losing that stuff. Or you can reproject them back on, actually. If you use something like Maya, you can project the UVs back on if you have the old version. So you can just transfer it. Okay. So, mouths. When you're working on Muri's Mermaid, we were, but today is a demo day, so we're just going to work on some mouths. I do need to post up online that that's what we're doing today, though. Let's see if there is a Pixologic tweet for it. Sometimes there isn't, because I do it so early. Yeah! Okay. Today we are doing a mouse sculpt. So I'm going to try and do them where we have some mouths that are one that's open and one that's closed. Because normally when I do characters, they don't have mouth movement, so I don't normally have them when it's open, but we duplicate this first. So I'm just going to set two different poly groups, one for the top lip and one for the bottom lip. And then like the eye, I'm just going to shove that inwards. So we just have some kind of hole going on. Like that. So, we have to try and get in so there's some weird mouth shape. Normally how I kind of do mouths is I just mask stuff off. And then just move it out. Kind of like that. And it's going to look really strange, but so yeah, it's kind of just two separate pieces. We can actually split it off, but I'm just going to do mask by poly groups to kind of make sure that I'm only affecting one and not the other. Sitting here waiting for Pixel to open, been open for 5 minutes. Oh gosh. So let's just turn off mask by polygroups. So I'm just trying to do a bit of a warm-up, really, because I haven't sculpted in about a week. I've been doing a lot of texturing recently. So I'm just trying to figure out kind of what I'm trying to do, really. So, like I said before, lips are one of the things that I don't really have a set workflow for. But your top lip always is a bit longer than your bottom lip. Like, your bottom lip will kind of start blending out at about this point. If we look at this diagram here, and about this point in your lip, your bottom lip starts to lose a bit of form and it starts to blend out. Your top lip is quite sharp, but this ridge here wants the main form kind of, I guess, 3/4, halfway between the middle of your mouth to the edge. That halfway point is when your bottom lip starts to kind of fade away and have a bit of a softer look. A lot of the time it's the color that makes you think that that's a sharp edge, but if you turn this to like black and white, or if you see a sculpt of it, this part starts to blend out, whereas the top lip stays quite sharp, as you can see here. So this highlight is very sharp, but down here it's quite diffused as it blends away. Unless you're going for that kind of style, but always, even when you're doing stylized mouths, I find that if you give the bottom lip a really sharp edge in the corner, it looks really strange. So normally it's the color that gives it that sharp edge, not the actual form itself. See how we can get this to look on something a bit flatter. I might make it a bit rounder like the sculpt is, the actual sculpture. Okay. Just opened the stream and I was thinking she's pretty good with ZBrush, and I noticed it's the Pixelogic channel. Yeah, the Pixelogic channel has lots of different sculptors on it, so if there's anything that you're interested in seeing, there's lots of people who do different stuff, so it's like a big variety kind of I guess it's not variety because it's all ZBrush, but it's ZBrush for lots of different disciplines. So I have more of a gaming background, and then there's some people who have a 3D printing background and film and concepting. So there's a lot of different people with different kind of skill sets, but all in the same program, which is pretty cool. So I'm just gonna Z remesh this a bit. Hey Tama, how you doing? I can't use Gauze. Oh, do you have Maya 2017? Is that why? Because I can't use Gauze either. Man, this is going to be hard to do it on just this one cube. I think it's going to be a bit tougher than the eye to get to look like an actual mouth. Right, let's try and get some lower geometry on here. And then project it back up. So thinking what I'm going to do is actually build this part of the jaw in. Actually, I don't really need those higher subdivs from this, so we're just going to delete that. And then probably delete that cube as well. So I'm just trying to create some kind of base mesh like we did with the eyes that we can use across all of them. So it'll make it a little bit easier to see kind of what we're doing. And then maybe because the form of the mouth is so important when you have the nose in. It's really hard to set that landmark. Like when I said with the eyes, without the nose bridge and without the eyebrow, it's very hard to build that form. So there are, you can do it where it's just a flat block, but I find it a lot harder to kind of figure it out without that in there. So I'm just gonna maybe really quickly put a nose in there as well. But I'm gonna do it as a separate piece and then maybe just leave it like a, come on, come on, there we go. Stick it about here, rotate it outward. Just gonna stick some kind of weird nose shape in. Starting to have a Doctor Who moment with you just sculpting the mouth. Oh, what do you mean by that? Need to move up. Oh, if I had clay build-up selected. I did not. Mask must be cleared. Okay, I'm just trying to get some kind of form in here. Kind of don't want to select this part, but you want to bring this part out. Oop. Every time. Although I saw somebody else using on the ZBrush channel who also did that. They went to go get hard polish, but they brought up this menu instead. So I was like, ah, I'm not the only person who does that. Just gonna get this nose roughly in here. Just so I have a landmark to work from. Which looks strange, but okay. So the space between your nose and your lip is about the same width as the top lip, so I think that's all right. Okay. Did you buy the cat ear headband? I did not know. I might do one day, but I bought absolutely everything else, so I was like, I just spent £75 on a bunch of skincare products, so I think I'll hold off on that for a little bit, but okay. Super simple nose. Did you get a new mic? I did not. Do I sound better? It might just be because it's a bit closer. So it's actually working like it should do. So your nose doesn't sit on top of your face. It's pushed in. So I need to make sure I've not got it too far out because you're... I'm just going to rotate it a bit as well. There we go. All right. I don't think I have my poly groups anymore. No, I didn't keep them, so... Here's our kind of lip base. So I have like our little base mesh going on. I'm gonna try and force myself not to work on the nose too much though, even though I always do. All right. There's always like a flat part. Lip mouth base. So, since you mentioned your gaming background, I thought of a question. Retopology for game characters, is it worth using ZBrush or just make it easier on yourself with other applications? ZBrush topology tool eventually drove me mad and I gave up on them. I don't use ZBrush for retopology, not for in-game stuff. You can do a lot of really cool in ZBrush retopology for when you're working on, like you need to do hard surface stuff and you want to keep it in ZBrush. Being able to do it in the same application does save a lot of time in the long run, because you're basically not swapping in and out of different applications all the time. But I don't use ZBrush. Okay, which mouth should we try to do? We can put some teeth in as well, but we'll see how that goes. What? Alright, so now we have the inside and the outside. So I'm just going to make those two different poly groups again. So then we can affect the bottom lip and the top lip separately. I'm just going to divide it up a couple times. So with lips, let's try and do an easy one first. Let's just try and do like some male lips. So I'm just gonna Okay, so if we look at the reference that I have, I get asked this question all the time on the YouTube channel, so I'm going to say it at the beginning, but this reference window right here with all the images in it that I can kind of like move around and add to super easily is called Pure Ref. So you can get Pure Ref for free online, or you can donate towards it as well. So I think there's a different donators edition, but you can get this for free. It's called Pure Ref. Just so you know, because I think there was like one video where every single question was, what reference software is that? It's Pure Ref. There we go. Super easy to use. I've used Quadro before. I don't like it as much. I think Pure Ref is a lot better. So there we go. Thank you, Seagull. Yeah, pureref.com. It's where you can get it. And it's super good. And you can save all of these out. So I have like a bunch of them already saved. I use it for everything. I use it at work. I use it for like all of my life. I'm a mono app workflow fan, but unfortunately it feels a bit clunky. I haven't really used it, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm going to start off by blocking in some form. So from the nose, from the nostril, this plane is quite flat and it's indented. But then from the top of the nostril is where you see a little bit of form from the cheek. So that kind of blends down. And that's why from the front you don't normally really see it, but from the side you'll see the cheek. So you've got to get that in there. And that's kind of, its peak is normally about here. So I'm just going to build that in a little bit. And then we got the Cupid's bow. And that kind of blends into the top of your lip. And this is another piece of like fatty tissue that kind of goes around your mouth. And it kind of blends into that cheek fat almost. And then if we kind of deeply carve in here where your chin kind of starts to come in. I don't know the names for all of this, but start to bring in your chin. Where it kind of goes from this concave underneath your lip, and then you have this fatty tissue like in the corner of your mouth. You can kind of see it really nicely in this sculpt here. So you have this concave right where your lip then goes in and then comes out for your chin profile. So it goes in and then out. And then it goes in the corner of your mouth where your top lip fat sits over the bottom lip. So you have like another little concave in here. But then underneath your lip, there's some fatty tissue that looks kind of like a rounded... I'll try and get a draw over it. Try and draw over it. So it's kind of like this kind of shape. So this is blended. So yeah. Depending what kind of age the character is and what you're going for, depends on like how pronounced you make that. Normally with male characters, you make it a bit more pronounced than female characters. So you can blend it out quite a lot. Hey Marisk, I'm doing good. How are you today? Also got a question. Do you often get asked whether you know whether you're a wonderful person? Oh, Bam Bam, welcome. How you doing? ZBrush Live sponsored by Pure Ref. There we go. I know that, who is it who uses Quadro? Someone on the channel uses Quadro. I can't remember who it is, but I know that someone uses Quadro. I think... I think Michael Pavlovich uses Quadro. So if you want to see what Quadro is like, he uses it, but... trying to start a pure ref revolution here. So I'm just going to bring this form in a little bit more for the cheek. Just gonna add the edge of the lip in there. So the form that you kind of have from the side of your bottom lip kind of goes like this. So you have like a flat edge, flat, flat, flat curve, and then normally it goes flat again. So it's kind of more like, it's not like completely rounded. It's more of like a series of flat shapes. So we need to kind of work on getting that in there. Just gotta pull this back a bit. Where's my nose? And then it's the same for the bottom lip, so. The peak is kind of from the corner where your cupid's bow goes into your lip. I'm not sure what these parts are called. That's kind of the peak of the form. So I'm going to reduce this part because it's a bit too high, but I'm just going to move this out a bit. Okay. Yeah, lips can be difficult to make. I want to do more face practices, so I really enjoy doing stuff like this because it means I get to kind of practice a little bit more. So when my current project Gully is finished, which he almost is, very close to having him finished. I'm going to start doing some more face practices. I have like a whole folder on Pinterest of all the faces I kind of want to... that's where a lot of these images have come from. But I have a whole bunch of stuff that I want to kind of work on that I'm very excited to do. It's going to be fun. What's your guys' favorite part to sculpt? Like, is it like hard surface or characters? Like, if it's a character, what part of the character is like your favorite part to do? So rather than mask by polygroups, I'm just going to do a mask blend, just so it's a bit softer, and then just move some stuff around a little bit. I'm trying to follow along, but my lips look like blobfishes. Head trip, show me. I might be able to help you. I'm sorry, I'm not being very good. The eyes were a bit easier to kind of demonstrate in a way for me, because I still don't quite have a set workflow for this. I'm very back and like with eyes, I go, okay, so we build out the form without the eyelids and the eyeball. We carve that in, then we build the eyelids in, then we build in the eyebrow bone, and then we bring in the form here, and then we build in like the fat around the eye, and then we Dynamesh the whole thing together. So I have a bit more of a set flow, I guess, like workflow to doing eyes. But when it's mouths, I kind of end up flicking back and forth quite a lot between lots of different forms. So I don't have like a really set kind of way that I do it. I'm very much like, I was on Troy's stream before. I'm very much like Troy that when I try to like teach people how I do stuff really differently each time, because each model has its own complications and its own challenges. So I always end up doing it slightly different each time. There's never just one way. So if you have any questions about it, please let me know, and then I'll probably be able to give you a little bit of an extra helping hand. I'm just trying to build up some of the fat in the corner of his mouth. But yeah. Blobfishes have lips too? Yes, they do. And hey, Commandos, how you doing? Mine is a mouth. It's kind of intuitive. I don't know why. Eyes are much harder. Awesome course. Okay. Okay, I'm glad that you're enjoying it at least. I enjoy a lot sculpting the whole face, but the ears, I'm bad with ears, and the upper chest deltoid muscles. I end up sculpting all of those fibers. Yes, the way that, especially with women, oh my god, trying to do the way that your pectorals, and not only that, but your breast tissue feeds into your deltoids and also to your collarbones. Don't even get me started. That's one section that, like, of the body that I find that the anatomy always has to be perfect, is your shoulders and your hips. If you screw those up, everything else you can kind of, other than the obvious of like hands, face, other than that, I find that some of the most difficult parts for me is like anything like shoulder wise, I find really difficult. Arm anatomy, especially if it's a female character and you're not doing loads of muscle work, you can kind of suggest the anatomy, so you normally get away with it if it's a bit screwy. But when it comes to like shoulders, because there's so many different landmarks that you have to plot out with shoulder anatomy, and then your hips as well. So especially with females, because they have a lot of fat tissue, it's hard to get the landmarks right on the hip. That's one of the things that I'm not the best at, that I want to get better at. So I'm hoping that when Gully's finished, because the next project I'm going to be working on is another collaboration. I'm going to be doing a lot of anatomy studies before that, so we're going to be doing that on this channel, and I'm going to be learning, and I hope that I can like teach some people while I go, but it's more like going to be my practice time. So I hope that we can like, if I bring up some references and if I share it with you guys every week, we can do some like practices together. I think that would be cool. But yes, ears. I have done an ear demo before, Anubis, but we can do another one. We can vote on if we want to do ears or nose next. The ear demo was really fun that I did for another channel, because we got to do like human ears, and then we did elf ears, and then we did like absolutely massive World of Warcraft style elf ears, and we took across kind of like what landmarks, the same that we did with the eyes, what kind of key landmarks you have to carry over from realism to stylized, and what can we push and what can we take away. Normally, typically when you have a stylized character, what features you take away and which ones you push to be able to like communicate, yes, this is an ear, it has these defined landmarks. Like for an ear, normally the main landmarks you kind of have is the obvious kind of foot shape in a way. So this is your landmark, and then you have like this Y shape, and then the hole. And that's kind of like all you really need for a stylized character. Sometimes people go like even simpler, and they'll just have this. And then they'll have like one kind of hole here. So that's the even simpler form of it. Then when we went to elf ears, we said, okay, we're going to take the cartilage and take it all the way up here. But we're still going to have the earlobe, and we're still going to have that form in the earlobe. But we have to take the cartilage ridge all the way up here. And then we're still going to keep the Y shape, but we're going to stretch it. Because you need support in the cartilage of this ear, otherwise it's going to collapse. So that was a cool demo to do. I really enjoyed that one. I love hard surface. Making motorcycles is my passion, and in real life and in ZBrush. But I bought ZBrush at V2.5 to do character work, and I love that as well. I've been using ZBrush so many different things, through concepting electrical vehicles, from the motor industry, awesome, for models, the routing, the 5-axis router to help a friend with restoration of his home. Oh, that's so awesome. That's so cool that you use it for so many different things. I love that. I'm just gonna put Maspo Polygroup on, so I can just move this top lip. So I've got some knots in the geometry, if you can see here, where the geo's gotten kind of messed up. So I'm just going to take this and duplicate it and re-topologize it to kind of have like a better form there. We can kind of just grab the topology brush and just make sure that there's a line there. And just kind of say, yep, I definitely want geo that goes through there. And geo that goes around the mouth. Because if you can see, there's like lots of knots right where that transition is. And it's making it really hard to get a smooth shape. So I'm just going to remesh it. Hopefully we can get something nice. So maybe put it to same and then do it one more time. You don't want to only do it once. You kind of want to do it twice. Just to kind of help fix that up a little bit more. And then divide it up and just try and take a look at how that might be. I mean, that knot there might be an issue as well. So I'm just going to test it by... No, that seems to be handling it okay. Alright. So now that I've retopoed it, we're just going to project it. But turn off the nose. And see if we can get in here okay and smooth out all those lumps that I had. Yes, we can. Nice. So now I can get in here the way that I wanted to. without worrying. Okay, so let's just get the Smooth Stronger brush, which I keep forgetting that I have to stick in my startup, but just go around and smooth some of this stuff out. So sometimes it helps to have the nose as a separate mesh. I haven't really done it that often, really. But from what I've seen from other people who do it, it tends to look like it's very helpful at first. Because you always end up kind of creating this beak shape when you look down on your face. I always used to create this really sharp point, as if the nose was resting on top of the face. Oops, I duplicated it instead of deleting it. Oops. So I used to rest the nose on top of the face, but your nose kind of sits inside. And it kind of pushes in, and then you get all the fat around it, in a way. And that's like how I like to think about it now, which helps a lot with... Is that Voldemort? Yes. 1 minute. I haven't really seen Harry Potter, but I know that he has a weird nose. So, like that? Oh my god, it just looks like a person. Yes. Perfect. I love it. Then I can spend some time drawing in eyebrows again, because that's my favorite part. Yeah. And let's just get damp standard and put a little bit of a sharp edge on his top lip. And then I'm going to need to create another mask. Perfect. Okay. No, don't let that go away. Huh. I was just wondering why that was masked off, but Looks more like a peculiar monster. Hey Nocturnal, how you doing? The only limits are those of your imagination. I've also taken to using it for the creation of jewelry pieces, having done a course with Tom Whittlesbach. That sounds awesome. I really want to take some courses. Oops. 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 I really want to take some courses. That's definitely in my plan to do more of next year. Unfortunately, because of like moving house and all that stuff, I'm not able to do it this year, but the hope is that next year I'm going to put, hopefully be able to do some kind of courses. Because all that stuff is always really good for you. There's so many people I've seen recently who've been doing courses and coming out just like absolutely amazing. Like at the end of it, like they were good before, but then they came out and they were just like exceptional after just like, I think a lot of them are like 8 weeks or something. So that's what I want to do. I want to do more of that stuff. Mouse. Hey Stephen, I'm doing good. I didn't know Pixelogic were taking applications for streamers. We are always taking applications for streamers. If you know any ZBrush streamers who are, you know, like down with being on the channel, or it's something that they're interested in, or if it was something that they thought, like me, they thought, oh, I'm not good enough for that. There's loads of cool people on there. What kind of, who wants this scrub on the channel? Apparently scrubs are allowed on the channel, I'm just saying. So if you guys know any ZBrush streamers, please do apply. There is a link below. So you guys can apply. I've already suggested a few people, so hopefully that they can join up as well. So if you know anybody, please do apply. Don't feel like you're not good enough for it. Because somehow this scrub got on. So if you feel like you've got something to share, or you're just, you know, just want to share your projects with people, then please do apply. Because we're always looking for people. I think the aim of the channel that they want to do is they want 24-hour content. So they want people from, like, it doesn't matter where you live. I think mostly there's, like, American streamers, like people who live in America, but they're literally, they don't care. You get to pick your time slot, pretty much. So oops, keep dynameshing it. Turn that button off. I'm just gonna grab pinch. Just pinch this a tiny bit. A little bit of fat underneath the lip. You going full Adobe? Nah. I used to do it for Adobe, actually. So. Great nose and mouth anatomy. Oh, thank you. I don't know what any of it's called. That's the thing. That's another thing that I feel like I lack. Is that I know where to place stuff, but I don't know what it's called. I just know, like, there's a piece of fat here, there's a piece of bone here, there's a landmark here, there's a this, there's a that. But I'm not the greatest at knowing what it's all called. Okay, how long have we been working on this for? For about an hour, so. So this is one. I'm gonna call this one pretty much done. I'm gonna draw over the top the main forms that I like to stick in. So even for stylized characters, I did this for Miori as well. But so you basically have your nose in. There's like this big strip of muscle and fat that kind of comes down from your eye, and it also connects here to your nose. But there's like this big form here that you stick in, and that's where the I guess like your smile line from your nose to the edge of your mouth comes from. There's like this big strip of like fat and muscle that sits right here. So when you look from the side of your face, you have the form from your eye kind of goes down like this. That's what this is, basically. It's like that big plane. Well, it's two planes. It's like one plane under your eye, and it goes down here to the sides of your mouth. So that's like your first big piece when it comes to like blending it in with the rest of the face. Your top lip is kind of made up of 3 pieces. So you have this kind of heart shape that makes up the middle part. And then you have the side wing, which comes in lots of different shapes, but basically then that line, the edge of your mouth, that's quite a sharp line all the way down to the end. And this ends further than your bottom lip. So your bottom lip kind of finishes a little bit on the inside, but you don't have a sharp line all the way. It's only about up to this point, and then you'll start seeing it blend out. Nasolabial fold. There we go. See, I don't know the names. I'm so sorry. And then what you'll see in a lot of sculptures is you'll kind of see this indent in here, right where the top lip sits on top of the bottom lip. So I always like to have that sculpt in here because I really like seeing this shape. Even when I draw characters, when I draw mouths, I'll always add that shadow in there. I just like having it there. It's just real. I don't know. I think it's cute. So I'll always draw that shadow in because I think it's adorable. And then you have your chin. So underneath, let's go red pen. Underneath, this is where you'll see your shadow, which is kind of like, it can either be a semicircle shape, or sometimes you'll see where the chin comes down. It'll be kind of like, I guess like the top of a bear head. I wouldn't know what, I guess it'd be kind of like a really simple top lip shape, just reversed. So that's shadow. So if you don't have that shadow there, even if it's like a really simple form, so with like stylized mouths, you'll still see that there, but it'll just be a simpler form of it. And then you have this fatty tissue here. With female mouths, as you can see, it's still there, but it's a lot softer. But with male mouths, normally you see it a bit more. I mean, not quite with this one. This one's still quite soft, but you can still see it. It's still there. So however pronounced you want to make that is up to you. I think that's another thing that's really cute, so I like to put it in there. Then you have like your Cupid's bow, which the deepest concave part of your Cupid's bow is right here. A lot of people make it really deep all the way up, but it's actually only right where the wing of your top lip is. That's where that's the deepest. It's actually quite subtle as it goes upwards. This plane here is quite flat. It's just a big flat triangular plane. But yeah, it's kind of like, and then you have like your jaw. I always find that their crease hugs the nostril instead of bumping into it. Yeah, so it's kind of like it goes up the side of your face because it actually connects up to your nose up here. And it kind of sits up against it. It doesn't like push your nose, as you can see here. It just kind of sits up against where your nose is. And that's what helps me to know that the nose is stuck in your face rather than sitting on top of, because this muscle and this fat kind of sits up against it. So yeah. "24-hour content would be awesome. I'm pretty much live here with a few breaks of Facebook and eating. Maybe sleep once in a while. This month we'll have 2 Japanese artists. I should do some more streaming in French only." Oh, I'm so excited for those. They're going to be so good. I love, absolutely love Japanese ZBrush artists. They are amazing. They're some of my favorite ZBrush artists, I'd have to say. Because they find all the shortcuts. They do not cut corners in exploring absolutely everything that ZBrush can do. I highly recommend, if you can find ZBrush toy, like figurine sculptors on Twitter, follow them. Follow all of them, because they constantly post up like little diagrams of stuff that they've found out. And they'll be like, oh, I found out how to do this super easy or this super easy. And you look at it and you're like, I didn't even think of that ever. And they're, because it's more of like a new thing as well. ZBrush has only been kind of like making a big thing in Japan over the past couple of years, I think. So everyone's going crazy. I really want to get some of the Pixelogic books from Japan just so I can look at them, because I know somebody else who did it and they said it was really good. So super excited. Saki Akaru is the artist who wrote the book I'm mentioning in my streams about figurine characters. Ah, do you have a link to that, Toma? Toma, do you have a link to that book? Because I do want to buy it so bad. 95% of my followers on Twitter are Japanese artists. My soul cries. See if I can find. Posted already? Ooh. Where is it? Oh, right. Oh, yeah, these are the 2 streamers. This stuff is so good. I'm so excited. It's going to be great. Thank you, Tamar. I'm going to get that. But look at this. This is amazing. It's just how they do hair and fabric for print. It's just outstanding. I can't contain. But yeah. So Nobuaki is going to be on the channel. These are cool. And then we also have Kaioru, who's going to be on the channel. I hope he does cute anime ladies on the channel. I so hope so. So I remember seeing this on Polycount on how he did the water and how he shelled it and everything, and it was insane. But yeah, this stuff looks great, so I'm really excited. Hopefully, because they are going to be speaking in Japanese, aren't they? So I hope that somebody does a translation on the YouTube for it. Or are they going to be speaking English? I don't know. He'll do a chibi character. I'm so excited. What's the software that you use your pictures on the left panel? It's called PureRef. And it's free. There we go. This is going to be good. This is the book that a lot of people I know have been sharing and have been buying, even though they can't read it. But it just looks great. So if you know a bit about ZBrush's interface and you know about how ZBrush works in general, like you know how to get around it, you can buy books that aren't in English and still understand what they're telling you, basically. So I know somebody else who bought this and said that it was really good. So I'm going to bookmark that so I can get it later. Because I want that in my life. All the videos are available on YouTube from the book. Ah, nice, Tamar, thank you. Alright, so here's our mouth. We could go in and start, like, if we made it super, super high poly. You can go in, let's go to, so you can use either Slash or the Rake brush, but I like to use the Orb Cracks brush. Normally for games, where is it? Orb Cracks, there you go. So normally for games, I won't sit and sculpt all of these details in on the skin. When it comes to skin pore detail, what I normally do, I'm not sure if this is the case for some other people. I think some places do sculpt it in, or at least they sculpt it in to show the texture as what they want the skin to look like. If we divide this up a couple more times. A lot of people will go in and kind of start to add in some lip detail at this point. And then smooth that out a little bit. So some people do it in the sculpt. I do it in the texture. And to do that, I just take, I actually use scans, and then I warp the scan to the texture that I want, to my UV. So I take the scan and then I smooth it. I kind of warp it. And then using a, what's it called? Using a high pass filter, I can make, in Photoshop, I can kind of make a fake displacement map. It's not really a displacement map, but a displacement map. And then I take that into Nold, and then I transfer that displacement map using the high pass filter into a normal map, and then I just overlay it over my normal, over the original normal map from the sculpt. So I don't usually sculpt this detail on. I do it all in the texture. Just gonna go back to before I put that on. Okay, so because I haven't really, let's see how much of this we can scrub through and see if we can see exactly what I've done. I should save it first though. Yes, okay. Let's save it super quick. So if we just scrub through this, we can kind of see that I just put a hole in and then really quickly just mask off and just build up a really simple form for the lip. And it looks really bad for a while. And then I use Damn Standard to kind of pull out the main, like, I guess the furthest form and to build that in. And then it was a bit hard to do on a block, so I just created kind of like a fake half face shape to help with that. Retopoed it, built in some of the main fat deposits around the mouth, built in the chin. And then just some more polish on some of the tinier forms of the face. So I always like to start with primary form, moving down into secondary, and then down to the very last fine details. Yeah. The history thing is kind of freaky. Yeah, because you can just like scrub through it. That's why I like it for like demos and stuff, because you can kind of go through and show again what you've done. So yeah. Has a really creepy mouth that doesn't look very good. And then about an hour or so later. Yeah. But once again, if you guys have any questions, just throw them my way. I haven't been talking quite as much like the eye demo. Actually, I don't know. I feel like I talked a lot during the eye demo. More about exactly what I was doing than this, but maybe I wasn't. Maybe I'm just imagining it. So now we're going to take this. I'm going to duplicate it. Bring it down to one of its lower subdivs. And then we're going to change it to a different type of mouth. So it's good just to have like a base mesh that has the lip, bottom lip, top lip with the with your polygroups. So then you can separate them if you want to. Because then if I select this and say, okay, I want to open the mouth a little bit, then you can, because they're separated. But actually that would kind of just move the handle to where the jaw would normally be. Oh, no problem, Tamar. Thank you so much for the link to the playlist. I'm gonna... Got it on my history now, so I'm gonna watch it, but thank you so much for coming, Tamar. So to drag the handle around, you just hold down Shift and click this middle white circle, and then you can kind of, sorry, the big orange circle, not the white circle, and then you can move it where you want to. Because normally you have to do it on a surface. If you put it over here, you'll just rotate the camera. So if you grab the orange circle with Shift, you can move it where you want to. So then we can see it a little bit more open, kind of work into that a bit more. You don't need to click Shift, do you not? Oh, no, you don't. Okay. Oh, no, Shift snaps. Yeah, Shift is snap, sorry. So that snaps it to the geometry. If you don't hold down Shift, it doesn't snap. Sorry, you were right. Okay, so we're going to put in a really quick set of teeth. Oop. Just going to grab a cylinder. Just kind of do this. And scale it down. Gotta make sure symmetry's on. So normally you would have kind of like a base mesh that would be the teeth. You kind of just reuse the same teeth over and over again. Very rarely do you make new teeth every time. So that's something that I need to make so then I can just have like a set of teeth and a tongue that I can just slot into like any mouth and not have to remake it every time. So that's a good thing that if you do character art, something that, oh, I don't have this set to repeat. Oops. So that's a good thing to make sure that you have. So I want to do this mouth. So I'm going to try and do something that's a bit more open and feminine. Turn off back face mask. So we're just going to soften up some of the forms. Cool demo, looks good. Thank you so much, Claybear. I appreciate that. So I'm still going to give her the fat deposits, but I'm going to make it a little bit softer. Same with her chin. I'm just going to give her like a softer look. Turn on mask by polygroups, so I'm just grabbing the bottom. So if you put this to the highest, so that's why you should have your lowest subdivisions, because I was able to move those forms around really, really easily without getting any real pinching or weird, like kind of crumpling shapes. I was able to keep that movement really clean because I had a really low subdivision to work with. If I had tried to move that around, for example, let's go to the highest. If I tried to move all of this stuff around at the highest subdivision and try to make like those really big changes that I'd made, it's a little bit harder to have it be so clean. So you end up with something a little bit lumpier. Whereas when you do it when it's a really low subdiv, you can make huge form changes without really breaking a lot, or with very minimal cleanup afterwards. So, because her lip is so big, she has quite a dark shadow underneath. Get to a lower subdiv. Oop. So everyone's gonna have the same nose, but she has quite a soft Cupid's bow as well, but that could just be the lighting. So, because her lips come out quite far, I'm just gonna make this a bit deeper. So now we have two different sets of mouths. We have this kind of like plumper look. Oop. So this is kind of like a thinner mouth with some sharper forms. I still feel like I could probably sharpen it up a little bit more in some places. So that's one style. And then here's another. I'm totally gonna rewatch this stream a couple of times. You gave Gully a freaky long neck, now I'm working with actual bones. Cry, I'm so sorry, but he does have a really long neck. So does FL, actually, to make the collar work. This is the thing, your characters don't have to have the most realistic anatomy, because sometimes your characters will have, and you won't quite notice it because of clothing. So FL has a really high collar, and so then I could have the separation in the silhouette of how high her collar was to kind of get the break between her collar and the top of her jaw and her hair. I had to make her neck a lot longer than a human's neck actually was, but because when the clothing is there, it doesn't look like her neck is quite that long. It was the same when she had a full body. Her legs were really long, and it was because her skirt was so massive. Like, the wedding dress was massive. Because of that, her legs had to be really long to compensate for that. To keep the kind of really nice silhouette and lengthen her skirt, her legs had to be really long. A lot of the time, you kind of have to push the anatomy a little bit to work in your favor to have those really nice kind of silhouettes going on. Gully is another one because he has that huge fur ruff that goes like in the middle, and then he has like the big one, the big chest piece. To have the silhouette be strong and break away and show those forms individually, I had to make his neck really long. When I first used ZBrush, I hated those transform line things. Now I love them. They are a little bit difficult to understand, I think. I really struggle with them still sometimes. There's this where I've learned that if you hit this, you see this little red circle and you hold down shift, you can then flatten anything to that point. That took me a while before I knew that, and that's really handy. I did that for the teeth to make it so then they were flat on one side. I did that with the teeth. Rotate is one that I struggle with the most, but I realized that if you go to the middle transpose line and go up or down, then you can rotate side to side. I didn't know that until like a couple of months ago. And then obviously you transpose from this point. There's also like, there's also options if you hold down Alt, that you can twist as well, and there's all this kind of stuff that I didn't know. So if you hold down Alt, you can kind of like do a twist bend, not Alt, yeah, Alt. You can do like a twist bend almost. So you kind of keep these both in the same place, but you kind of twist the middle only. You can do that the same like with the top. You can only twist the top, but yeah. They take a while, I think, to get used to the transpose tool. It does take a bit of time. Like with move, I realized somebody told me that you could hold down Alt and bend things, and I didn't know that you could do that. So there's lots of cool stuff you can do with it, but it takes a while, I think, to get used to. Looks like she's eating her nose, but scale is one that I still have yet to really nail. So yeah, scale is one that I need to get used to. But rotate, I feel like I've gotten the hang of, and move, sometimes I use move for scale instead of the scale one. I'll just use the move transpose. Just be like, yeah, let's do that, woo! But yeah, the scale is the one that I struggle with the most, probably. Because sometimes you scale it and you think, oh, I want to scale it like this way. But it does the opposite way of what you think. But once again, it's like rotate. If you go from the middle, you can scale up or down. So yeah, if you use the transpose middle, it's a much easier than just the end one. But yeah, scale is one that I still haven't quite nailed, but I don't use very often. I normally use the deformation menu rather than scale. But I'm getting used to it. It's one of the ones where I haven't really had to use it really much. But recently I've been having to use the transpose tool quite a lot, so I'm getting the hang of it slowly. But it is something that takes a little bit of time to like kind of figure out. I do agree. Plus something that I've shown before, but I'll show again. If you hold down Shift when you open a menu, it keeps all of your other menus open. It used to really annoy me that if I opened a menu that it would close all the others. And then someone told me if you just hold down Shift, you can keep it open. That took me a while to figure that one out too. Excuse me. I learned that if you hold down Alt and click a button, it opens the toolbar. Ooh! This thing? Oh, nice. That's cool. Didn't know that. So if we go down to a lower subdiv for that. And then I want my smooth to only affect color. So I'm just gonna slowly... I like adding poly paint to stuff. Just press C to color pick any color on the model. So I need to work on the Cupid's bow a bit more. I've smoothed it out to basically nothing now. Like I said before, the color and the sculpt kind of blends out on the bottom lip as it gets closer to the edge. Yep. Just gonna turn down the intensity a little bit. For some reason, my eye material has been removed. Woo! Alt-click symmetry opens the transform panel, which I find really handy to get the buttons I didn't use as much that I would have gone out from the same panel. Nice, okay. I didn't know that. There are so many secrets in ZBrush. There's a ridiculous amount of secrets. That's why it's so cool that you've got people like Joseph Drust and Michael Pavlovich on the channel, because they will literally just blow your mind with every little thing that you ever wanted to know about ZBrush ever. Because they know it all. And even Michael is like, yeah, yo, sometimes there's stuff that I don't know. Which can seem a little bit crazy. Because it's like, how do you not know? You know everything. So yeah. Even sometimes the most knowledgeable people on here will forget stuff. So, which I think is good that there's just 10 million ways to do one thing. A lot of people ask me like, oh, why did you do this way instead of this way? And sometimes the answer is just because I did. It's literally just because I did. Like, there's so many different ways to do the same thing over and over and over again. And not every person will do it the same way. Like, my workflow is kind of a mixture between, if I were to compare it to other people on here, it'd be a mixture between, like, I guess Shane Olsen and Danny Mac's kind of way of doing things, but then also I work in a kind of Dynamesh workflow as well, kind of like Brendan. So it's like, I have a very mixed way of doing things. But then I do use base meshes a lot, like Troy and Lena, so if I can, I'll make a base mesh. I don't like to do it from scratch. So yeah, I do a very mixed bag kind of way of working on stuff. Okay, So I'm going to duplicate the nose so I can merge it with this one. I'm not going to work on the nose anymore, so just ignore how crappy that looks. And I'm pretty sure if they have the same subdiv, then I won't lose it, but we'll have to have a look. So how many does this have? So they're both on 4. Merge. Yes. Okay. So this is something that I learned from Troy that I had no idea was a thing. If both of your subtools that you want to merge together have the same amount of subdivisions and they're both currently set at the same subdivision level, I've done it before where they've both had the same amount, but one was set at 2 and the other one was set at 3. If you merge them together, you can keep your subdivision levels. Whereas normally if they're not the same, you will lose them. So that's just something in case people didn't know that one. So this one has 4. Oops. So these are both set to 4. So now we have 2. So if we turn off symmetry, another secret shortcut, if you hold down shift and left click and then let go and shift it rotates the camera like it was 2D. Ah, I may have accidentally done that at some point without realizing. Paul Gabri says it all the time in the manual. Oh, that there's lots of secrets. Danny Williams, let's have a look. I'm really bad with names, but if I see artwork, I'll probably know who they are. Yes! I've seen Danny's work before. It's awesome. Let's see if we can get it up on here so we can show who we're talking about. I've seen this before. So yeah, I've seen this before. That would be cool. I want to see some people who do hyper-real stuff on here. I think that's what we're missing. We have a lot of, or people who do like weapons, or people who do kind of like, I guess, environment art as well. Because we have a lot of like represent character artists. That was lame as hell. Ignore that. I didn't do that. But we have a lot of character artists and a lot of stylized character artists. We have a lot of people who do 3D printing, which is really cool because you don't really see that represented a lot. When I was looking into doing 3D printing, there's nothing online about how you should do it. So it's really cool that we've got 3D printing, people who do figures for printing. But we have a lot of character artists, and what I really want to see for the channel is that we can bring in some people who do like hyper-real stuff, people who do environment work using ZBrush, and people who do like prop stuff. I think that would be awesome. I think that's what we're missing right now. So if anybody knows anyone, please let them know that we're looking for people to join the channel, because I think that would be rad. That's the cool thing. If one way doesn't work for you, another will. Yes, that's what I love so much about it. If you were to have 5 artists that you would love to see streaming on here, who would you choose? I genuinely have absolutely no idea. And it's because sometimes I really enjoy people's artwork, but they may not be the best streamers. I think it's a very different thing to be on here talking to people and kind of I guess, demonstrating in that way and being able to interact with chat as well as working, which I'm not doing right now. It's very difficult to do that. So sometimes it's like, I love watching speed sculpt videos. I could watch them all day. But then to have someone streaming is very different, I think. Bob Ross should stream sometime. Dan Rotary should do realism here. I'm sure that if someone asked him, he would. He's right now doing a course. But yeah, he used to stream on Twitch. He does Facebook stuff mostly now. But because he's planning his course, I don't think he's going to be doing... I don't think he's going to be doing Twitch for a while. Because he's kind of moved away from Twitch. But... yeah, Dan's stuff is insane. He does a lot of, if nobody knows who Dan Rotary is, he does lots of really crazy cool, hyper-real characters. The one he's working on right now, which is like a fat Link, is absolutely hilarious. I love it. But yeah, Dan's really good. He's a really good broadcaster as well. Because he's a great teacher. Okay. So, yeah, he's really busy with his mentorship, so I don't think we're going to be seeing Dan doing anything here recently, but I'm sure if he wanted to, he would have applied. But he's on Facebook, he's on Twitter, he's on Twitch as well. I'm sure if you guys message him saying that he should do it, that he might look into it, but he's very busy. He's just had a baby as well, so... Who doesn't want to go for his mentorship? I know, right? I don't have time, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what people turn out for his mentorship. It'd be really interesting. Peer pressure? Yeah, just everyone. Go pressure Dan. I'm sure he'll love it. Okay, so... what kind of mouth do you guys want to see? Do you want to see more of a stylized one? Or what do you guys want to do next? Do you want me to go over it again? Because we have like another hour. So it's up to you guys. What you kind of want to do. Because we could do, because last time I think we did an Overwatch character. We kind of took what we learned and applied it to something else. I started a Stargate-ish environment thing in ZBrush yesterday on my stream. Was gonna be a prop, but I don't know where it'll go. That sounds cool. Do you have a link to it? Post a picture. Post a picture in the chat. We want to do stylized? Okay. I'll have a look if I've got anything. I had a brief look on Pinterest to see if I had any really stylized characters I could have worked from for the stream, but I didn't really see much. See what I have in my, because I have like a like folder. But I can't really show you my Pinterest on here, just in case there's boobies. I think this is all just 3D stuff. Oh no. So depending on the style, I do stylized mouths in a different way. So that's why I say I don't have like one workflow. Because like if it's a really stylized face, you know, sometimes when they do like that kind of, I guess the only thing I can link it to is like Kim Impossible mouth, where like they do like they make the top lip really prominent and then barely have a bottom lip. I like to do those differently to this kind of look. So the workflow is a little bit different. I can't really see anything to work from on my Pinterest. I should have prepped this better. It's just anime characters for days on here, you guys. Trying to see what I have on here. Man, I can't really find anything that has like a good shot of it. I guess this one. They all just either have like line mouths, which is another one that means you have to be really subtle with it. You can have more than just anime characters on Pinterest. I know, right? Okay. I found one that's interesting. That we can kind of work from. Sorry guys, it's just a lot staring at ref right now. Oh, damn, what's her name? I follow her on Instagram. Her lip looks like a mustache. Hot damn. I hope not. I've got her on Instagram. What is her name again? I hope I can find it super quick. I just go through people's stories and see if I can find them. There's Decrin. Decrin does some cool face stuff as well. No, okay. Watching how you would work when you have a concept only was a line from the mouth would be interesting. Oh, okay. We'll try and do that then. You trying to challenge me, brah? Let's see how we do with just a line mouth then. Oh, I found her, Anna Katish. Anna Katish's stuff is really cool. So that's who I was trying to find. Knew I would find her eventually. Anna Katish. try and do something a bit harder. So sometimes you get stuff like this, and you have to make this work in 3D. And in 2D it totally works, it looks gorgeous, but in 3D you kind of have to play around with it a little bit. How long do we have? Okay, we have just about an hour. So if anybody wants to join me on kind of sculpting something from Anna Katish or just doing like a stylized mouth, I'll get up my Discord and see if anybody wants to post up on there if you do. Let's get a permalink. You posted some screenshots in Discord? Awesome. Let's have a look. Did you put it in art sharing? Where did you put it? Did you put it in the goofs, maybe? Some being one. Okay. Where did you post it? Oh, I found it. Oh, I just found it. Okay, sweet. This. That's cool. I was looking for lips. I was like, where are the lips? I don't see them. That's because it wasn't lips. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna take the same thing and kind of duplicate it, but you did lips. Oh, Beijlock, show me. Let's dupe this. Bring it up here like we did before. So I'm going to take this all the way to its lowest. And then just fill it in white. And then I'm actually going to delete its higher. So I'm just going to have... why not try this mouse? Get out of here, evil emperor! Perfection. Easy peasy. Done in 2 seconds. Did you post them on the Discord? Oh, Beijlocks, those are looking rad. Beijlocks does some really cool hyperreal portraiture, you guys. It's really awesome. I always love seeing it. Alright, so I'm going to take this, but I'm going to super simplify it. Excuse me. Do. Okay, so let's do polygroups. So stylized lips are normally a lot flatter. I'm probably going to end up kind of merging these two things together. So it's more just about taking away form when you work with stylized characters, and you only keep the forms that you really need. So it's a lot of you're kind of simplifying a lot of everything that's already here in the realistic pieces. And you're just taking away everything that you don't need, basically. So, like, you don't necessarily need these little pieces of fat underneath the lip, or you don't necessarily need this little kind of crease here. You can be a little bit, I guess, more forgiving and softer with... Oh, that looks funny. With these forms than you would be if it were a realistic character. Okay. If we just delete higher, because it's going to keep some of the high detail information we had from the previous one. So if we divide it now, it's going to be a bit of a smoother divide. Oop, what have I pressed? Oops, I've clicked something I shouldn't have done, and now it's doing a hard smooth. I don't know why. Why is it doing that? Does anyone know? I think I've pressed something I shouldn't have done, so now it's dividing, but it's not smoothing it for some reason. Focal shift. Press the smart button. Yeah, no, I had that on before. If we delete higher and divide again. Oh, that was, I swear, it was ticked before and it wasn't doing it, but whatever, it's fixed now, that's all that matters. Okay. Stylized lips are all the same stuff. But it's just a way simpler version of it, as you can see. But yeah, I turned it off because I thought that that was the problem, but the main key to a nice stylized look is a really nice low poly. If your low poly is really messy or you have geometry that's kind of, I don't know, like you can see where there's like lots of knots. You see these knots here. So it's kind of like a kite shape, the way that it breaks away and it spins around. This pole here, which is this 5-sided vertice, if you have that in creases, kind of like how I have here, that can get really messy as you divide it up. If we divide it again, that will get really tight and cause a lot of issues in your high poly. And basically what that will do is mean that you'll have pinching in your mesh, and that pinching can cause you, like a lot of people get them at first, they're like these little kind of knots. They kind of look like, go to the higher one. They look kind of like this on your mesh, and you can never get rid of them. Or they can look kind of indented as well. Kind of like that. And it won't ever go away, no matter what you do. And that's normally because there's a knot in the mesh. So what you want to do is make sure that your low poly is as clean as possible. And if your low poly is really clean, then your high poly will look really nice. And that's literally just the key to having a really nice looking high poly mesh. Like a stylized look. So if you work on your high poly like this, when you have a stylized mesh, you're going to get, you have to do a lot more cleaning up to get that to look nice. Whereas if you do it when it's all low poly, you're going to have a nicer time. Is there a subgroup? Yeah. So because I don't want to lose that lip shape, I'm not going to be dynameshing it. Otherwise I would dynamesh and stick the nose on. But because these lips overlap, I don't want to dynamesh it now. I don't want to lose that, so I'm going to leave the nose as a separate piece right now. But and Smooth Stronger is another really good one if you do stylized meshes. Smooth Stronger is just a stronger version of the Smooth. And it just makes cleaning up this stuff much easier. Get a little bit of a pinch going on the bottom lip. A little bit on the top, not too much. And normally you don't put the indent in the Cupid's bow, depending on the style you're going for. But I think with this style, it's better that we don't put it. Gonna add a little bit more form here. But yeah, that's it. That's literally it. If you have a nice... loads of people say don't work from base meshes. You should do it from a sphere every time. I disagree. Even though technically I did this from nothing. I think if you have a really nice base mesh to work from, you can get through your workflow much faster and have really clean results. So because I made a base mesh at the beginning of it, even though it's not a retopoed one, it's still a nice base mesh that I kind of I've had to work with today. It means that I'm able to create lots of different types of lips and looks really fast because I have that low poly version to work with. So yeah, let's give her, I like giving everything a little bit of a poly paint. It's just a nice touch at the end of it. Where's my standard brush? I bet it's in that corner, huh? It's like, yeah, it's right there. So I'm just gonna turn that to RGB, turn that to RGB as well. Yeah, go, Evil Emperor. Ask away. Show me the thing. How long do we have left? We have like 35 minutes. So we can keep working on stuff, I guess. Do you have any directions about shaping out the head forms, the types of general forms and whatnot? Yeah, we can do that. We've got time. I don't even have perspective on. There we go. Oh, Mona, I love Anna. Anna's work's amazing. I really want to do a piece of hers at some point. Okay. General head forms. I mean... Ooh, got like this lumpy heart going on in the back. Why won't you go away? Oh, right, because I've got RGB on. Oops. Go away! There you go. Anna Cattish. I'll type it in the chat. Yeah, I know my smoothing was on RGB. I was being a goof. But yeah, if you go online and you look up planes of the face, always kind of use these as references. I normally don't use this half, but I often use this half of the head as reference because I get these big forms here. And I use this for kind of planning out the different forms of the face. If you look at actual sculptures like Philippe Fraut, his stuff is amazing. He does videos on, I think it's Philippe Fraut? There you go. Philippe Fraut. He does videos of him actually sculpting these faces. They're very stylized and I love them. If you want to have a really good person to watch sculpt, Philippe is one. He's definitely like the one to watch because I don't know, there's something different about watching someone sculpt with their hands and building the form to watching someone sculpt in ZBrush. Because he really does have to put down the shapes, whereas in ZBrush a lot of people will just kind of sculpt on top of it and create clay, whereas he adds it and takes it away. So the way that he works is really different to the way that ZBrush sculptors work, that I've seen in a lot of speed sculpt videos. But I want to sculpt more like that. I want to sculpt more like he does because his stuff is insanely good. So by adding and taking away rather than only adding and smoothing out, I think is a good way to work. But yeah, Philippe's stuff is amazing. If you want to see more of his stuff, he does have his own YouTube channel. But he does like demos where he shows how he does it. There's some that start off as a realistic face. Sorry. And he does like really stylized looks as well that are super polished. So that's really cool to look at. So he does lots of different styles, which is really cool. So I definitely check him out if you want to learn about how to create form just in the face in general. What I usually have is just a base mesh, but if we want to go and kind of build it out. Oh my god, stop. Thank you. I'll do a tiny one up here. So once again, I do this differently. I don't have just one way that I do this. Stop. But yeah, this is kind of how, if I Dynamesh it, kind of how I start. So yeah, I think it's good to start with a sphere and a cylinder because your face isn't completely round, it's more flat in the front. So I think using a cylinder instead of a sphere to start off with is really helpful. But if you want any references on how to like kind of get the forms of the face right, then stuff like the planes of the face or Philip Frout are normally where I look for stuff like that. If I don't understand any forms or if I struggle with that a lot. That's kind of where I start looking. And I've said it before, I really like looking at doll makers on Instagram because when they sculpt the faces by hand, holy moly's, is their stuff cool. So yeah, I often look at them as well. I did miss your question. I'll go have a look now. So yeah, the proportions don't have to be right straight away. As long as you're just putting stuff down. That's what matters really straight away. So I kind of just block stuff in like this. Yeah, and then just kind of work from there. Okay. Bye Marisk, thank you so much for coming. I want to put this helm in a blizzard, but I don't know how I should apply the snow or ice. If you could tell me how it would look when applied. I'm gonna put snow or ice on it. Normally that would be done in your specular and your gloss with a bit of an albedo. What's this one? But do you mean how to apply it in the texture? Because normally when you do like ice or water, it's done in your specular and gloss map. So you can just find like maybe it's like you can just find something like this and then apply that in your gloss and specular map, and then you'll see it kind of glitter. And put a little bit in your albedo as well. So just something, oh, that's not gonna, that was risky biz. Just something like this, put a little bit of white in the albedo and then put a high, I guess kind of like gloss and then a medium kind of specular. And when you do the gloss, put like a noise filter over the top of it so it has different levels of like, no, the specular. Yeah, the specular should have a different level, kind of like a noise filter where some is brighter than others. So it looks like kind of glittery. And then apply it in your normal map as well. So then it kind of looks like there's a bit of a surface there. But yeah, that's kind of how I would do it. I'd build it up a little bit using like your specular gloss and normal map, and a little bit in the albedo. You don't want to put too much, otherwise it's going to look like bright white. So just put a little bit of white in the albedo and you should be good. But it's going to take some testing. So you'll have to test it in a few different ways to see how it looks, but I think you could do it. Tiny head. But yeah. Yeah, and then I'd kind of just push this around, get the proportion right. But normally when I start with faces, I start with something that looks kind of like this. And then just work into it a bit. Sometimes, like here, the nose will be a different subtool. Or the lips, the eyelids and stuff will definitely be a different subtool for a while. So I'll like move those in and then put some eyeballs in and then put some eyelids on top and all that stuff. It looks really scary for a while, but I think Milo's face took like 3 hours maybe to start coming together and looking like an actual face. That's why I want to practice a little bit more. I have like, I'll show you guys my face Pinterest because there's no boobs on there. I know 100% that there's nothing dodgy on there. So I have like a whole folder of different faces that I like. I like going for faces that are a little bit more unique. So they're not like typically, I guess like seen. Like I don't see people who look this way around. So, what? I'll think, which one's my favorite one? This one's probably one of my favorites, but I think this one's probably my favorite. But yeah, lots of different types of faces. So I want to do like some face practice and do some male ones because I don't really do male faces like ever. So they're not supposed to be likeness sculpts either. I'm just trying to learn how to apply different features and proportions so all my faces don't look the same. Because a lot of the time when you work from base meshes, I don't think I did for FL. I might have done, but it was just a base mesh like this. When you work from base meshes, everything ends up looking the same, which is really hard to kind of get out of the habit of doing. Can't believe I rotated it. I screwed it up. So I'm just going to create myself like a good base mesh and then start doing loads of faces. But a base mesh that literally just looks like that. Nothing special. It just has like the general shape of a head with some ears stuck on it and maybe just a really simple cylindrical nose, and then do lots of different faces and stuff. I think that'll be fun. So maybe we can do that on the ZBrush channel together. I think that'd be cool. So does anyone have any questions, anything at all? We've got 15 minutes left. So did anybody do any? Did anyone do anything, like any sculpting or anything that they want to show? And then should we do ears, or do you guys want to do noses next? I mean, noses don't take as long. They're pretty simple in that respect. Going to delete this creeper up here. Hey, Made of Cookies, how you doing today? How should it look? If you just look up snow crystals or ice crystals, or look up frozen object, you'll be able to find loads of reference. It's just knowing the right words to look up. So I think a good one is stuff like leaves and how they look when they're crystallized, and so yeah, just look at stuff like this and just create like a library of it, and then try to replicate it. Why is frozen baby doll a thing? I have no idea, but apparently it's a thing. But yeah, this is kind of what you're going for, so you'll have to do some tests, but just find a bunch of references that match what you're trying to go for, and just do a bunch of tests. It might be better to test it out on just a sphere, like an unwrapped sphere, rather than your actual model at first, but maybe you find it easier to put it on the model, but yeah, just look it up online, there's tons of stuff. That's why I don't work from base meshes, otherwise my faces all look the same. It depends what kind of base mesh you have. Like, if you have a base mesh that has all of the forms in it, like it has its cheekbones, eyelids, eyebrows, every little piece of form in there, like some of the base meshes I see that people, like, charge for. If you have all of that stuff in there, then it will look exactly the same every time. So Max, hello. But if you have a really simple base mesh where literally all you have is eye sockets, eyelids, and a nose, and that's it. Maybe if you want to put the lip forms in there too, but sometimes I'd prefer not to, and you just have discs for ears, then your faces won't look the same, because all you're doing is you're taking away the work of building out the proportion of the head, and now you have to add everything to it. When you watch a uni stream and your lip levels increase by 100-fold. Thank you. I always fall into correcting the planes and then end up detailing the head and the whole face. No, I literally just create, like, alien face. I do have a video on my YouTube where I do a speed sculpt, but that was from a while ago. And I don't really like it anymore. It doesn't look as good as everything else. Beige Locks, that looks awesome. Love it! Yeah, dude, that's looking rad. Oh, I want to do some faces. I want to do some faces. But yeah, I'm not sure if I saw it in the chat, if you guys want to do ears or noses next. What do you want to do? Provider, how you doing? Yeah, you can upload them in the art sharing section. I would love to see. I was about to drink my coffee, but it's really cold. You want to do noses? Should we do a quick, let's do a quick straw poll, because I can't remember what the results were last time. I will never screw myself over and put hands on here, though. I'm just telling you guys. I'm still figuring that stuff out. I still don't know. All right, there you go, guys. Go vote on what you would like to work on next time. I don't think it'll be next week, but it'll be the week after that. So I'm going to try and do it every other week. Ears for me. Hey, Blaines, how you doing? You can show male chests, Anubis, on Twitch. You're fine. Oh, those are cute. I like it. Those are adorable. I love doing lips that have a larger upper lip. I love it. I think it's so much fun. Doing this kind of look, I really enjoy. I think that's why working on Milo is so much fun, because she has that aesthetic. We could do noses. Oh wait, noses and lips. Oops. 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 I did the wrong one. Wait. I messed up. Wait. Ears. I messed up. Sorry guys. 1 minute. Nose. Ears. There we go. And you spell ears horribly wrong as well. Okay. Sorry, that last pull. No. No. No, I'm sorry. There you go. Don't talk about hands. Hands are something that I'm still getting used to. I need to find out the best workflow for me. I think right now it is just sculpt one finger and duplicate it. But the part that I struggle with the most is how the thumb attaches to that. The overall, this part of the hand, I'm totally fine with. It's not too bad. I still need to work on it a lot more, but the thumb and how that attaches, I did Gully's hand perfectly fine. I had no real problem with that, but Milo's, I was just like struggling hardcore. I love those kind of lips. Me too. I think they're really fun. Demi, sorry, noses are winning anyway. All right, we might be able to do both anyway, because noses don't take very long to demo. Unless we did like, here's an anime one and here's a stylized one. I guess more kind of like, once again, like illustration kind of nose. And then here's a realistic one. And I'll see if I can make it stretch for 3 hours. If not, we'll do ears as well. We'll do like a quick ear demo. See how it goes. Every time I draw hands, it just looks like sausage fingers. Yeah, I struggle with that too. I think everyone struggles with that. So right now, ears are winning. I'm just going to turn back on my taskbar so I can see when time is nearly up. There you go. Ears are winning. I'm modeling a low poly hand in Maya for school. It's killing me. Ah, the ear comeback. But I've had a lot of fun today, guys. Thank you for sticking around and for hanging out today. I've had a lot of fun. I have to pack up my house some more now, though. So, what is the date next week? It's the 20th. Okay. So, I am here next week. I'm definitely here next week. But I just remembered I'm not here the week after. So next week we'll do the demo. But then after that, I'm not on the ZBrush channel for 2 weeks because I'm moving house and then I have an art event to go to. So we will be here next week, but then I won't be here until the 10th of June after that. So we'll do the demo next week. And then we'll continue working on Milo after that. Just because I'm going to be gone for a few weeks. Okay, who's winning? Ears are winning! It looks like we're probably going to do ears. There's 119 people in here. Get those votes in. Good luck with the packing. Thank you. I'm going to get the last bit of it done. I have to pack up the board. The board is getting packed, so there's a bunch of other stuff that I don't need right now. But yeah, lots to do. You'll be busy scaring your dear friend for a weekend. I will be. It'll be fun. You won't stream on my birthday. I'm sorry, Alpha. I won't be here. Yes, go for it, Seagull. Drawing basics. Ooh, and also another reference if you're a sculptor. A great person to look at is Bridgman. So you have stuff like, not like, so you got drawing, Bridgman's complete drawing, but there's George Bridgman. Anatomy. I will check my Discord in 1 second. So if you look up George Bridgman Anatomy, if you get the Constructive Anatomy book, not even kidding, it's one of the best anatomy books I've had. And the reason why is because the way that he describes these forms and the way he describes the shape of the leg or the shape of the thumb is so graphic, he will relate it to something else you already know and it sticks in your head. And the way that he constructs form is as if you were sculpting it, which is really cool. So if you're a 3D artist, it really sits well with the language and the understanding and the kind of like the understanding of like form and structure that you need in 3D. He teaches you in 2D, but I think it's really good to work from because like this here, how he builds the leg, when you look at the way that like people like Shane Olsen or like Derekin builds their base meshes is very similar to this. So I would definitely check him out if you can, because his stuff is really, really cool. Okay, let's have a look at... Yes! Yeah, I would have built in the... I would start building in the lips and put the ears on, because the ears are a huge landmark for the face of understanding the proportion. So it's very hard to put eyebrows and eyes in and get those sitting right in the head without the ears as well, because the ears basically line up with your eyebrows and your nose. So I try to get those in. Get all the big forms in first and then start putting in eyelids and all that stuff. All that juicy stuff. Yeah, I own the books for this. I actually have the books on my, well, not on my bookshelf anymore because they're packed up, but the Bridgman books are amazing. Anatomy for Sculptors, yes, that's another really good one. And then there's an Anatomy for 3D Artists done by 3D Total. A lot of my base mesh stuff I got from there, so definitely go and check them out. So yeah, so it's Anatomy for Sculptors, Anatomy for 3D Artists. George Bridgman is another really good one, so... Have you looked at the one I linked to earlier? I think so. There's been a lot of links today. Do you get paid for the streams? No. I do this for fun. I just added the paperback edition to my cart. Nice. I converted someone. They're really good. I really like them. So next week we'll do a ears tutorial. Well, I guess not tutorial, more of a demo. Like we did today with the lips. I have a lot of fun doing these. So I'm glad that you guys can hang out and you guys enjoy it too. That's what makes it worthwhile. So thank you so much for hanging out, guys. Make sure that if you want to see some more awesome ZBrush streamers, to follow the Pixologic channel. It's the place to be. Next we have Thomas, who's tomorrow at 12 p.m. He's going to be working more on his 2B, more on his 2B sculpture, which is looking really cool. The way that he builds clothing is really, really interesting. I like watching it. And then we have later on in the afternoon on the same day, Shane Olsen at 7 p.m. So 2 really awesome artists to follow the channel, to find out for. Oh my god, English. Can I go now? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry about me speaking today, because it's the worst. I can't speak English. And if you want to follow me on my own channel, it's Unicorn Dev, or Aspie just posted a whole bunch of links. Aspie is the link king. You can get me on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram on Unicorn Dev or Unicorn Dev Games, and also my art station, which is just Shailene Hulbert, which is the same name that's like at the top of the stream. ASMR. So thank you so much for hanging out. I will see you guys next week, and I hope that you enjoyed the demo. Okay, bye. I'm not late this time. I didn't finish late this time. Yay!